see Miss Fisher? Well, we just talked.
And she talked. You know what? I'm amazed. She is so. She always tell them to invite me because they've been doing it for a while. And I always come and I always call for it that they're gonna start on time. So I don't want to apologize.
I'm glad you wasn't over there too long.
I wasn't on time. Oh, they get loose over there. Yeah, they was out there cussing on. I didn't go too much with it, but you know what? We grew up next door to them. We lived in Prince Hall. And I will say this about her. Every kid in that house, read.
Yeah.
Read.
Time to go.
Read. No TV, books. They would get up early, go to the library on Saturday morning when it opened, come back. Everybody has a stack of books. Everybody read.
They still do.
The whole family. I've never seen a family. Oh, is it time? It's time. Oh, we're having too much fun over here. Good evening, everyone. We're about to open our meeting. We will open it with an invocation and a pledge. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you. We thank you for this opportunity, the opportunity to live in the land of the free. Lord, we ask that you give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in all the decisions that we make. We ask that it be done in the best interest of those, the city. And Lord, we thank you for all that you've done and all that you're going to do. And we give you the praise and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, we'd like to thank you all for coming here. We know that you know why you're here, to help assist with taking care of the city's business. And I would say as a starter, it's not only the women up here sweating, it is actually hot in here. Everybody will be in a little bit unless the air kick in quickly. So with that being said, did we have any comments? Okay. So there are no comments from the audience. Does the council have any statement they would like to share briefly?
Not a brief statement. Mayor and council, I just got a couple of questions that I need to ask, inquire about because it's not on our agenda.
If it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, and I'm going to inquire, and then that way you can respond or answer at the next meeting. I've had some calls, and they were inquiring about the on the loop, the electricity that has been placed out there at the industrial park. They were wanting to know if the taxpayers are responsible for any of the utilities that are being placed out there in that park. Another question, I believe, was they were concerned about the Mary Allen College Heritage House contract. They were asking about it, so I would like to get an update or some type of information on that as well. And last but not least, when we did the swapping of the city managers and deputy manager, did we get the necessary paperwork for bank statements and all of that? Well, all of that changed over to Mr. Lee Stanley's name. And is he going to be the investment officer as well?
Okay, well, those will be questions that they won't be, if it's personnel issues, they would have to go on the personnel, and they won't be discussing stuff in
that's
private
fine. I just
session.
want to.
And so we'll see if that's something that the council would like on their agenda. Is it something that, so those items would be entertained for possibly being on the agenda.
Okay.
And so with that, okay, those are your statement, and that was just comments from the audience at that time. Okay, with that being said, that brings us to item number 1, approval of the regular session, September 2nd, 2025.
I make a motion we approve.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and second. All in favor? Motion carries. Bring us down to reports, special project update.
Mayor, Council, City Administrator, I have printed out already in front of y'all. I'll go over these, I'll highlight some of these projects. If y'all have questions, we can talk about them. And I'll respond on that. The SIB projects, the state infrastructure bank projects that are nearing completion. All the road construction, portions of the construction is complete. We are finalizing San Jacinto, the water lines down San Jacinto. Those are being completed currently, but are not complete. And now we're going back on many of the roads that had some of the gutter work, curb and gutter work. We're completing those, and some of the ditch work our contractor is completing. So we're finalizing that on the state infrastructure bank project. Storm sirens. The storm sirens have been ordered, and we're expecting delivery late October. We were very fortunate that the vendor and those that construct those sirens actually got lots of siren orders in over the last few months, and ours was right before that, just after the river flooding and a lot of that. A lot of cities and areas have purchased sirens, so we would have been backlogged for a long time if we would have waited just another month. After they're ordered or after they're delivered, our contractor believes that it'll take about a week or so to install them. So we should have them installed this year. The water lines on East Houston and Goliad, we received all the preliminary engineering this past week. We went over those and marked them up. We found some discrepancies of hydrant locations and valves and a few things like that. All those have been marked up and sent back, going back to the engineer to be completed, and then they'll go to bid on those after Texas Water Development Board signs off on the engineering portion. Our 2024 Texas Water Development Board project for the North Wastewater Plant, the clarifier that we began construction on with in-house funds. We passed a resolution to seek reimbursement. It's just we needed to get the work done before the funds were deposited in our accounts. The clarifier is complete, and we're requesting the funds to be reimbursed into our account. The engineers are working on releasing funds ahead of time to do exploratory work for dredging out the digester and the oxidation ditch. We have found some additional cracks and things going on with our oxidation ditch, and so that's kind of the next phase of that construction. The water well, they've already began an asset management plan, whereas they go in and bring all of our assets. They check the make, model, the cost of it, when we bought it new, when we bought it, when it's scheduled for replacement, so we can do a depreciation schedule, and know the cost and the cost of replacing all of our assets and our water infrastructure. But what we've done is reached out to the Water Control Improvement District, the lake, Houston County Lake, and they're also wanting to have the engineers do that same program with all of their infrastructure. So we do know all the way from the lake when we're pumping it out until we distribute it through our city what the true cost of doing business is. We can do a rate study based on that information. We can also do a true calculation of what is really needing to be replaced at the lake. Their pumps and their distribution system all the way to the city and then throughout our city. And then we'll bring that back to the board, to council, for y'all to make decisions on how y'all want to distribute those funds with the $4 million Water Development Board funding that we have. Whether we want it to go to a well, or whether we want to join in with Water District and use those funds elsewhere, like council mentioned during our budget workshop process. Just a quick update on the water exploitation, the Redtown Ranch permits. There was a bill that was drafted, but was not finally passed through the Senate and the House. So currently we have no additional legislative protections against the Redtown Ranch permit. We do not know the status of how fast that's going to move forward. To our understanding is it goes back to the State Office of Administrative Hearings. for them to determine who are the affected parties and just go through the permit process as it stands. There's another lawsuit by several individuals, the Consolidated and the Sanderson Farms and several others, trying to keep that application out. So we don't know the status of that yet. It'll have to go through the courts.
Was that where they were mentioning, another water development board or something to that?
No, the county is working on, currently, they've appointed a steering committee for the water conservation district. And so they're trying to put together a case of whether we will get the support and whether we need to have a water conservation district for Houston County as well. We don't think that water conservation district going through in Houston County will help us on this specific program, the permits by the time it goes through, but it will help for further
Future.
exportation projects. We're closing out our EDA disaster supplement. We did the South 4th water line, South 5th water line, and the paving, and we're going to be expecting our final reimbursement on that project. The gateway signs are complete as far as being installed, and the curbing has been installed around it. We have the lighting in, and we're going to be installing that ourselves. We're pouring footers to mount the lights. They're going to be LED lights that we're installing around the signs, and then backfilling it with some nice river rock, some bull rock or something to make it look nice. So, but they're nearing completion. We've taken pictures of the current sign in front of Provalis. Due to the location of their current wording on the sign, and we're sending that in. Provalis has taken it, and they've offered to use their graphics design department to come up with some ideas, and then I can seek funding, see if I can get some other businesses to see if Provalis wants to share in some of the costs, and I'll just come back with y'all with ideas, and then we can go forward with that council's approval. The downtown master plan, it has been submitted. We aren't expecting a response until October sometime on that. That being said, the pedestrian crossing signs have been installed, and within the next month, they said during September, they're going to be grinding and restriping the square and all the pedestrian crosswalks and everything.
So is this the plan that you're gonna be talking to the downtown association about, or?
Yeah, we're going to present an update. Yes, ma'am. Not the plan itself, but just basically
Where we're at.
more of this, when I present tonight, just a little bit more in depth to explain to them what Texas plan I'm doing. I do have a couple printouts of some events coming up, but one of them that I don't have, I didn't print it out, just a reminder that we have, this Wednesday, we have the 50th anniversary at the library.
Yes.
50th anniversary celebration at 10 a.m. And so we're asking all of council to show up and support the library, see some of the things that we've been doing at the library, some of the work that's going on. That's nearing completion as well. Civic Center, I have that. Westbrook House, we need to get the bid specs for the replacement of the rock fascia board.
Okay.
The in-house street projects, I have a list of where we're at on those things. I know I don't want to get too lengthy, but those are the in-house street projects that we're wrapping up out of the current budget year that we're doing. Business projects, A&A Texas Capital, I asked them for an update on where they're at in employment and projects. They currently have 6 employees working. Their construction is underway for their tank farm in their front building with scheduled completion for November, and that will add 2 people once that tank farm is complete. Their fire mesh line is under construction, projected to be complete in December. That adds another 4 employees. The transformer was set this morning, as Councilmember Hicks mentioned earlier, and I can comment on that real quick. There are no taxpayer or public funds going into the electrical lines and transformers going into the industrial park. Encore and Houston County Co-op and A&A Texas Capital are all footing those bills. A&A Texas Capital is footing close to half of, or right at half of the investment costs, and the Co-op and Encore are paying phase 3 construction. They're currently at 45 full-time employees,
How many?
45. In October, they are scheduled to hire 15 more. They're scheduled and budgeted to hire 15 more. And in November, they're hiring 51 more.
Wow.
Where you gonna find those
Between
people?
now and November, they're going to be over 100 employees. That's their,
Good.
these are all full-time employees.
It's a lot of people.
They did ask that we move the construction phasing up, because they're not expected to be done until December 15th. And so, they're in that much of a hurry that they're willing to cut the bill to get it done faster, because they need to hire more employees. And then I have a couple more comments on other projects that are going on.
Okay, you say they're willing to help what? Foot the bill? Help.
For the construction, so if, for instance, if additional overtime is needed to get work done faster, Provalis is willing to foot the bill, because they're under contract to hire more people, and they want to get the construction work done.
They doing good then.
So they're doing,
That's what's up, man.
Not only they gonna hire people, they gonna help pay for them. I like that.
and then, I have two more, flyers for events coming up. The 9/11, ceremony that we had this past week went really well, and it looked like it had, we didn't put the number, but probably the all-time high attendance. And then, September the 20th, we have the Hispanic Heritage Day, and then, so we're asking council to really plan on being there for us this weekend. And then a regional roundtable by the Texas Downtown is in October, and so we put that on the agenda as well. Any other questions? Any questions?
What is the round table?
Texas Downtown, they're an association of historic of downtowns of cities. And they selected the city of Crockett as the host for their next roundtable. So there'll be lots of visiting people from cities all over Texas, as well as vendors and business people that will be coming and visiting our town to see the things that we're doing good. And so we get to showcase our city.
That's what's up.
I really said the fine arts kicked out that little theater. It was packed body to body. They sold out and wouldn't let anybody in. And Beast must have been a bad boy. But each of the events that have been there have been well, and it's a nice place. And with the way they said they were going to open it up for other things, community-based things, I thought that was really neat. But it's gonna seem like it's gonna kick in and do what looked like it used to be. People all in the street and in the way, but a good thing. Thank you, John. I'm sorry. I guess it is, but I got that. Okay, it's good to have an update, and this will give you an opportunity, council, to kind of review things and ask if it's anything in detail. And one thing that you don't have to do, you can get with city manager here. And if it's a project that you like to hear more explained, a lot of it doesn't have to be done as broadly, but if it might just be some questions that you can jot down and get it to him, and he can make sure that you get the answer if it's not necessary for a one-on-one or a full committee to address it. A lot of it is just for information purposes. So thanks I like that update. It gives you a much broader scope of where we are. And so that brings us to item number 3, Fire Department Monthly Activity and Status Report for July and August 2025. Good evening.
All right. For the month of July, we had a total of 43 calls, 29 of those being in the city, 14 being in the county. There's another breakdown in front of y'all. Also, for the month of August, there were 21 city calls and 14 county calls, with a total of 35 calls for that month. And if y'all look on your report, I made an error. I hope that's not a premonition, but it's somehow November. I put 164, so that is not right. I hope we don't have 100.
Praise the Lord for that, okay.
So that kind of threw off my year-to-date call on the city, and then the third page threw it off for year-to-date. So I will correct that and get that to the city corrected. But actually, our city calls for the year 212, and on page 3, the year-to-date call is 322.
in November instead of, to September.
I'd like to ask how's manpower and morale going?
Morale good, manpower, we're still in the same predicament we're all in. We got, actually, as well as you know, your son joined the fire department and his cousin, and they hit the road. But the only thing is that they're gonna go join the Army, or some military next month, so we're gonna lose the two newest gun those people we got that actually shows up to call after call after call. So, I appreciate them coming in, and I think they're gonna be great in the military, but they're real respectful and they're gung ho, and you just don't see that anymore, hardly, But, yeah, we do need more volunteers, that's just the nature of the beast that we're facing, and I said it to a little bit face, we just need more volunteers, and I give kudos to those two guys, they came in, they asked questions, and that's what you want, when people come in, they have put forth an effort, and I think they're gonna go and do great things in the military.
Thank you.
Well, I was considering how dry it's been, I think we've been
We're
blessed.
getting on the dry end, so, probably I'm gonna be watching the index and stuff, so we're not be issuing city burn permit probably next week or two, we're gonna get no rain, because we're at that threshold right now, we shouldn't really be burning, especially walking away from it.
Yeah.
There's been a few calls out in the county where people set a fire and they walk off, and they come back, it's already been fire and it's dry, so.
We still on the burn ban?
We're not under a burn ban yet by the county, we usually follow suit with the county when they do it, but you can see you gotta have a burn permit to burn inside the city limits, they come to the fire department.
Yeah,
From us.
smart.
And we're getting on the edge with everybody living close together, I'm not getting comfortable with the drive that is, so we're probably put issuing burn permits, we can get more rain in a couple of weeks.
I would think so. Okay. Anybody else have a question? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay, brings us to item number 4, Police Department Manpower Criminal Incident Report for July and August 2025.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
City Administrator. Our July manpower criminal activity report, total of 16 officers, worked 2,940 hours, responded to 452 calls, investigated 9 traffic accidents, made 62 arrests, issued 445 citations, completed 83 reports, and responded to 30 alarm calls. 28 of those were false alarms. And I'll move over to August. Still 16, worked 2,764 hours, responded to 453 calls for service, investigated 11 traffic accidents, made 41 arrests, issued 373 citations, completed 78 reports, responded to 23 alarm calls, and 19 of those were false alarms. Below you'll see a breakdown on each report, and I'll entertain any questions you have.
Well, maybe the traffic violations will go down there that the children are back in school.
I did notice
They
the
don't,
big-
they
the
don't
pictures.
look, they bag up, and then they, whoops. I'm just in the parking lot, it's amazing. But I said, maybe they're kind of show a little difference there. That might be the difference in it in the
I
sense
got
that.
one question, Creighton. People that they take to jail, I see they got some on the internet where they expose everybody who's going to jail. I mean,
The sheriff's department.
the sheriff department.
Yeah, that's not them.
Yeah,
That's so really.
Do they got to do everybody that goes, or is
Everybody, my understanding of that program, everyone that's booked into the Houston County Jail, they're made available on that. The posts that you're seeing are people that are going on there searching or looking at the daily jail report and posting those specific pictures, so, yeah,
some people be on there just for a driver license, or
That's something the sheriff's department manages. We don't have anything to do with that.
and, and so much stuff is now public domain. I mean, if you want
A
to,
lot of that stuff is public information, so.
and you can
they
get
can't
it.
restrict a lot of it.
I've never liked
that they posted, but I had explored it once before, but it's not something that the city has control over in terms of can they do it. It's not something that, it's when it happens at that level that they identify.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you. Okay, it brings us to item number 5, business. Consider and approve a memorandum of understanding between the Houston County Sheriff's Office and the Crockett Police Department for the establishment of a multi-agent major crimes task force.
Why did you leave?
Not going anywhere anytime soon?
Shortly after the sheriff was elected, he and I and my administration, his administration, we sat down and talked about working together, different things we could do. One of the things we talked about was developing a crime task force or multi-agency crime task force. And don't let the word task force scare you. It's not like
Tactical.
narcotics task force or anything like that. What we've done is we've taken the detective from the police department, the investigator from the sheriff's office, and we formed a team. And what they'll do is they'll work together on any major crimes, homicides, robberies, sexual assaults, things of that nature. So basically, we're pooling our resources. We were talking the other day, I think combined between the two agencies is like 190 years of experience, some crazy number. So it's really invaluable to have all these guys working together. So the MOU is pretty simple. We're responsible for our employees, just like we are on a daily basis. We cover their salary. They're covered under the city just as they would be any other day. The sheriff's office, their employees are the same way.
So will certain employees be assigned to the task force, or will there be?
So it'll specifically be our detectives that are already in that position. So instead of, they'll still handle stuff, minor things throughout the city, but when it's a major crime scene, say it happens in the city, they'll notify the other investigators that are with the sheriff's office, and they'll come out and all work together to help process that scene. As far as equipment, we'll maintain our equipment as we always do. They'll maintain their equipment. We will share that equipment on scenes. The dynamics of it, when there's a scene inside the city, incorporated city limit, our CID lieutenant will be in charge of that, and everybody answers to her. When it's a scene outside the city, their CID lieutenant, or I believe he's sergeant, will be in charge of that. So there's no confusion, no head button. They're in charge of theirs, we're in charge of ours. We just all work together, and we'll pull our resources and our equipment also.
Is it gonna cost the taxpayers money to get the?
No, sir, it's not going to
They're
cost
already
anything
employed.
additional. Just like I was saying, we already cover our employee's salary. That's not going to change. Our equipment and supplies that we buy, we're going to continue to buy those like we always do. They'll buy theirs, and we'll just, we'll use what we have. So there will not be any additional cost.
They're not gonna just be harassing people because, I got a few people that feel like it's a certain officers be harassing.
No, this, as I said earlier,
I don't want it to be,
don't let the term task force scare you. This has nothing to do with going out and this is specifically major crimes that have been committed. Someone has committed murder, sexual assault. They're going to go out together and work those scenes. It's a little different from like a DWI task force or a narcotics task force. They work a little differently. We work with the state and feds on narcotics. They handle those task force. We just work with them, so there's no additional cost there.
But what you're looking at, I'm sorry, it just appears that it's a more organized approach. Usually people call the sheriff department, they're called the city, they're called all of them at the same time, and nobody knows what anybody's doing, but all of them are there, and they're all trying to do it. But if you have an organized way, if you know it happened in the city, they're gonna come, but they're gonna know who's in charge. If it happens in the county, they're gonna come and they're in charge. And what you're seeing even across the board with most cities now, they're multitasking because most of the people are dual certified. And because they have more than one certification, when things show up, the problem has been who's in charge, so that it's effectively and efficiently done. So if it falls through, you don't have to call the sheriff and the police department and the fire department. You just call the one that's in charge. And I think in the long run, it just keeps us from wasting time, valuable money, and everything that we do. We don't have that many people to spread it out. But if you know this investigation is going on, you know directly who's in charge. You won't have to guess, won't have to, create chaos. And like you said, a lot of people here, are they coming after us for what and what? You be able to go to that one person that's in charge, and they can give you what they can,
I just don't want it to feel like,
No, it's not like
it's gonna be
coming
it's
in
gonna
roughing
be a
everybody up.
one-sided. They gonna feel like they got a little more authority to just
No, they have no more.
harass people, and
Yeah.
I didn't think we had that much crime in Crockett.
Oh, yeah.
I actually thought that you all were already doing that.
Basically.
Pretty much. So when I saw the MOU, I was like, well, they're already doing this. Why do they even need an MOU?
We do assist each other, but this covers us in a legal standpoint. If our employee is out assisting on an investigation in the county and something happens, they're still covered. Without an MOU or without an agreement in place, that can leave them exposed, thus leaving the city exposed. So I think it was in the best interest of the city and the staff to have a legal agreement in place saying, we understand that they're going to be assisting out there, that they're going to assist in the city, everyone's covered.
This is just one of those things, just like the chief just said, it makes it less exposure to the city by having a legal document in place between the county and the city. And also it's a way that everybody understands, council too, that our employees will be assisting and will have assistance from the county too. So it's just a legal process.
I'm glad y'all addressing that, because that was one of my questions. Because I was gonna ask who was liable, with it, so y'all did answer that question. So I'm glad you did address that, because I was concerned about, if whoever went out, they made a mistake or some type of negligence, who will be held accountable?
Well, with this MOU in place, it basically means our officers is no different than if they were working inside the city limits. So same policy will apply, same procedures. This just covers the police department and the city as a whole.
Chief, so when the call drops, is the task force then, is it like, is response like automatic, or is it requested?
So what'll happen, depending on the location, if it's in the city, our detectives will respond immediately, determine what type of scene it is, while the other investigators are on standby. Once they determine that the entire team is needed, they'll notify them, and they'll all be there together.
Okay.
Vice versa in the county.
Okay.
It's stages, I guess that's what you're
Yes.
So I have a touchy question, and it's gonna be very touchy because we know the climate of the situation about ICE. So when they enter into the city, who come in and want to, I guess, address the immigration issue, how do y'all assist them with that? Do y'all step in or let them, how does that work?
So we're going to work with all state and federal agencies. And we have not seen that issue in the city of Crockett. My understanding, they tend to be going towards larger cities with larger population. It was several weeks ago that ICE was in town, but they were here for a specific purpose. They were here for specific people. They weren't just going to businesses, just running in businesses. They were here looking for specific people for a specific purpose. And yes, we did assist them with that. So anytime a law enforcement agency comes into our city, we're going to be hospitable. We're still going to act in accordance with our policy and what the city expects from us. But like I said, the dealings that we've had with them, it hasn't been this wild, rambunctious show. They've come in specifically for a specific purpose. So.
And their level of authority is different. I mean, they have a ranking that
They do.
their ranking is over the city
To be clarified,
in terms of levels.
If ICE chooses to come to town, legally, they don't have to contact us, they don't have to ask anyone's permission.
And that's,
They can come in on their own. So
Is that
far,
fair?
what I've seen is, hey chief, we're in town, this is what we're looking for.
Okay.
At the end of the day, they don't have to.
yeah, it's a courtesy call that they let you know,
It really is a courtesy call.
Okay.
but you
I'm glad
can't
y'all
stop.
working with them.
Sir?
I'm glad y'all working with them.
Yeah, it's
when they
better
do
to
come.
know what they're doing instead of just arbitrarily, just to say, I'm just do it. At least you're there to give an understanding and a measure of protection to our citizen for reassurance. And I know, like I said, I do understand the flow of authority that they do have. I was reading their actual authority that they have, but as you said, when they come in and they announce what they need, and you're there to not monitor, but observe and assist as they require. I think that's, like you said, a good thing.
I think it's key, being that we're a smaller agency,
Sorry.
we rely heavily on our state.
Okay, we need to get back to the-
for assistance
Yeah.
in certain situations. So
We need to get back to
we
the,
have to maintain those working relationships.
That's good.
Okay, we're back to our regular agreement that we,
Yeah,
for
the
the
MOU.
mandatory, they put us back on track. We got a little sidetracked. Okay.
I make a motion we approve agreement between the county and the city.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and second, all in favor? Motion carries.
Anybody opposed?
You abstain, oppose? Did you oppose or did you,
I ain't voting on
you either oppose or you,
That's,
it. I ain't with it.
So it's a no.
I don't know too much.
okay,
about
if you
it.
don't do it, it's a no. It goes down, it's a no. Oppose, I'm sorry. Either oppose or you, yea or nay. Okay. Did you get that, Miss? Okay, thank you. Okay, that takes us to item number 6. Consider and approve a resolution and agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for the temporary closure of state right-of-way for Christmas in Crockett.
Mayor and council, this is the normal agreement we send in every year to TxDOT for Christmas in Crockett, which will be November 22nd, 2025, closing those certain streets from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's attached and it's in your packet. The normal streets, nothing's new this year compared to what we've done in the past, so we just need council's approval to send this into TxDOT.
I make a motion we approve the streets closure.
I second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor? Motion carries. It takes us to item number 7. Consider and approve a resolution R09B-25 for amendments to the fiscal year 2025 budget.
Mayor and council, you've got the budget amendment in front of you. I'll kind of briefly go through, hit some highlights for you, kind of describe where we are, and try to answer some questions if you have them. But basically, as you look at the revenue starting on the first page, you'll see that the budget change for collections of taxes is down $131,000. That is based upon the fact of when our budget was calculated, it was based on 100% collection rate. And as we know that you probably don't collect 100% often. But with that, you can see a little farther down that delinquent taxes and interest and penalties is up. And so that, there's nothing unusual about that. It's kind of normal. Sales tax is a little change that you'll see, but that you have to be very conservative when you put a sales tax number in a budget, because you never know if people are going to continue spending or not, and you sure don't want to set a budget based on your sales tax and then be short. Rental and lease revenue is down, and that was based on the fact of when we put the budget together, there was supposed to be rental and lease revenue from those places like the Chamber and the EDC, but then those did not come in. And so now we do have the lease agreement with the Chamber moving forward. You'll see a deficit in the EIDC because those funds came through the city, and after the election in November, those funds did not, so that's why that shows up there. And so in total, go ahead.
so So on the, so the funds came through the city? What do you mean?
Yes, ma'am. The city would actually write payroll checks, and then we would get reimbursed from EDC.
Okay, okay.
Okay?
So these, so we didn't get the reimbursement?
We didn't write the check, so we didn't get the reimbursement, but was in the budget, so we have to amend it because those funds didn't come through there when the auditors come. That number is different than what would have been there. If EDC would have stayed in existence, then that number would have been even. But since it didn't, there's a change.
Okay.
And so you have to account for changes within the budget. And so that's what we're doing.
Okay. Let me ask you about the sale of the assets.
Yes, ma'am.
Sale of assets. Do we get a list of those assets that we sell? And
Yes,
the-
ma'am. In fact, council approved surplus list. When you approve the surplus list, that's the only items we sell. It's anything council's approved is a surplus list.
So once that, those items are sold, do we get a list of the amount those items were sold for?
Sure, I can be happy to do that for you.
Okay.
I can do that. Yes, ma'am. Not a problem. So that was the revenue section from the general fund, the revenue from the water and sewer. A lot of that is basically the major change orders and reimbursement from Texas Water Development Board as those funds come in. Like the clarifier that y'all approved as a change order, those monies, and in fact, John alluded to it a little bit in the project updates that those funds will be coming in. So in essence, your revenue is about 63,000 short from the projected budget last October. And that is being very conservative with part of this month still to go, right? And so we've got some more taxes come in after this was completed because we didn't change this budget amendment. So that number is going to dwindle down. The deficit, as you would call it, is going to dwindle down before the end of the month. Expenses. Okay. So as we get into expenses, most departments were either on budget, on their budget number, or below. We had some that went a little over, but with that, we'll kind of go through them real quickly and real briefly. And then, but the key to it is when we get to the end number, our expenses zeroed out with this budget amendment. So we'll go through them. So the street department expenses, as you can see, there's a lot of negatives in there, but you see one number that did increase. Maintenance and repair of streets increased. We spent $71,000 more than what was budgeted. But with that said, within that department, it's still a zero. They didn't overspend.
They do know.
They didn't overspend. It's a zero. The Parks Department left a balance of $5,500. The Police Department had some expenditures based on overtime and salaries. They were of no fault of their own. Had a lot of major cases as the year went on and used a lot of personnel for things that they didn't plan for, we didn't want to happen, but it just did happen. And so you'll see the biggest majority of their overage is on overtime and salaries. And the rest of that is not unusual for the price with inflation and things going up. But there was a large number in overtime and salaries. Fire department, same thing, as the chief just alluded to. Volunteerism, and those numbers are down. And so with that, overtime has to compensate for our coverage. The CIDC, as you'll see, most of that is negative because of what we discussed. The expense side also went down in there because we had that budgeted, but we didn't spend it, right? The revenue was down, the expenses are down because it wasn't involved. The library kind of went over a little bit, but based on that, we spent ARPA funds trying to work on the library. And with that, as we got into that process, we found some other things that just had to be fixed a little bit. So that's where the $9,000 overage is. Mechanic shop left us with a balance. And as you remember, when we changed, or we created the Community Development and Service Department, that Civic Center salary got moved down there. That's why you have that number of showing a extra 29,000 in Civic Center, but then you go down to Community Development and Services, and you have a $35,000 change, but yet with that move down, it's a zero, okay?
So civic center expense salaries,
Right.
who are they?
Well, you,
The one that work here,
yeah,
it's a worker,
I thought they worked for the city.
they do. And this is in the city budget,
but
And-
they're there.
but their job duties include the Civic Center. And so to make
The one that work over there.
the longest story short is when you get down there to that underneath where it says total change for general fund expenses is $0. So your expenses are zeroed out. We just had to move money from some departments to cover other departments. That's what that
It's
amounted
the
to.
amended.
That's why you have the budget amendment to cover those changes. And with that, you were $63,099 short in revenue as of the time this was done. And so it's showing that 63,000. If you want to change that to zero now, we can do the general administration fees, move that over. Or I think it's going to be pretty negligible by the time we get to the end of the month, and that number is going to be a zero by itself based on our late collections and sales tax. But it's your choice. You can make it a zero tonight, or we can just see how it plays out. And then I think we'll be pretty close to zero.
It'll be accurate.
One thing, 'cause I mean, I did see the resolution, and of course, I looked everything else to make sure. But I know it says that the city can amend the budget with the resolution.
Correct.
But the, Mr. Greg Abbott ruling is that the city amends the budget with an ordinance. So, that way, with saying that, I'm really not comfortable with, the changing of the money, taking money from other departments, put it in, so it's not really making, a lot of sense to me, because of the fact that the budget was set. And so, when you are taking money from another department, putting over in another department to make things seem like they're right, I'm just not in agreement with it.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, that's one reason, I don't agree with it. Another thing I was gonna ask is, are we using, I think in here in the charter it was saying, are we exceeding the 3% total of the general fund of expenditure?
No, ma'am.
We're not.
No, ma'am.
And also, just to find out, what is the meaning of unforeseen expenditures?
Well, one of those would be like when the clarifier, we did not expect to have to go to reserves to pay that large expense, but like those large expenses came before council as a budget amendment, or to take those then. And some of these things, and we're working towards some of those things internally to have to where it's a little quicker response, but in reality, the budget set is the total, and within those departments, you can move those funds. The charter allows that. You can move them within the department. It just takes council approval to move it from one department to another. And so what I'm trying to do with this is show you where the overages and the under was, and as we move forward, that places everything at zero, and you see that. And nobody knew what inflation was going to be this time, the cost of business was going to be. And so some of those things change, and so we have to monitor that as well. But this is, I would tell you, with the amount of the budget being nearly $11 million and your $66,000 difference is a total, that's a pretty well projected budget, in my opinion.
And
I just-
the resolution, you said it hadn't been a resolution, but this is to approve a resolution.
No, ordinance. It said that,
You
yeah.
said resolution when you
No,
said it.
I was talking about the resolution. I was saying, I know the charter says the resolution, but there was a ruling that Mr. Greg Abbott put forward that in order to amend the budget, that it should be an ordinance. And with that being said, if we do an ordinance, there should be a public hearing as well. So. I
Well,
was
legal
like-
counsel reviewed this resolution prior to.
So, Mr.
Okay.
Lee, you saying that even at, with income and like delinquent taxes and things like that, it should basically resolve itself by the end of the month anyway?
Yes, sir, or you're gonna be such a very negligible amount that when the auditors do our annual budget, they will note that difference and it's not a major issue.
Okay.
I think if we received like statements monthly, we could basically.
And we discussed that,
follow up,
and
yeah,
we'll work towards
and,
that.
Follow up to make sure
Sure.
that the monies are where they should be and what they're appropriated
Mm-hmm.
for. But currently, I'm not in agreement with, the process that we have
Amending the budget.
in
is that what you
place,
said?
moving monies from department to department. Matter of fact, just to know, just to ask, some of the departments, because in other words, when did y'all know that we had unforeseen
You
money?
never know that.
Yeah.
How would you know that?
In
Because if you know what unforeseen means,
and,
you'll know that.
and understand too that I'm responsible for the budget.
Yes, sir.
But we have department heads that don't report to me as well, but they're very good at trying to manage their budget. Like the fire chief and the police chief report directly to the council. And they're very good on a daily basis trying to manage their budget, but they don't have to come ask me on a daily basis and when we
What
get
they
into
can spend.
what they can and can't do because they report to you.
But it
And so there are some times that, yes, I know earlier, and there are some times I know when it gets towards the end of the budget year and we start trying to figure out, okay, can we spend this, can we not? And that's when and this is a normal situation of doing a budget amendment at the end of the year, and I don't know many cities that don't have to do this. It's just improbable when you start talking about millions of dollars and you don't have to change some between departments or even because you just can't foresee a year in advance. You can't foresee what goes up. You can't know what's going to break. You can't know what else you're going to need. It's just part of the process, and this is the legal way of showing in transparency of we planned for this, it ended up like this, and this is where your money was spent.
At the end result, it's not any money is being taken away or destroyed. It's not asking for more money, it's just rearranging the money. It's like you said, I meant to buy a dress, a house, pay a note, and this. The house didn't cost as much, but the dress costs more, and you move the money to accommodate it. It's not creating new money. It's not raising new money. It is the existing money that was there. The departments are aware of the money that was there. And what you have to show at the end of the audit is that as much as possible, you stayed within there, whether you moved it from the house form or that. And that's what the resolution is saying, that the budget is. And if the department heads have already pretty much discussed what it is, where the problem is, and that's who they answer to in turn, the ones that do answer to the city manager to balance the budget. It's like you hold the pocketbook and your children will like everything out of it, but you balance it out. And that's what the city manager does in answer. Is it any new money? We've already voted on where the money's gonna come and what money is in there. This is not creating money, this is not making money, this is just moving it to pay a bill. But it's all city-based money in this budget.
So if one department run out of money, y'all go to another department.
But they go with the understanding that it's gonna balance out the year, because at the end of the year, all of the budgets become invalidated. They have to be redone anyway.
So anything that's,
If a department run out of money, y'all
No.
go to another department that probably got a little extra that didn't get to.
that didn't use it and they just
And those
used-
departments change from year to year. It depends. I mean, for example, Parks may next year be the one that has issues and we have to spend more in parks than we did this time. It just depends, and the budget's a daily struggle from day one to the last day. And it's not the fun part of the job, I can promise you that. And so, but like I said, in reality, I think when you take the budget of this size with this many departments and you keep it to these minor changes, I think that's a,
But at the end of the day, the audit is gonna say, is it a balanced budget?
That's right.
And balance means, are you able to meet all your obligation? And you might have to move, you might have to transfer, but at the bottom, at the end of the day, will you be able to pay what you said you were gonna pay, and you didn't have to borrow, or you didn't have to end anything, and that's what makes it balanced. And the department's head have had conversation to see what had to be moved and how. We know that just looking at it, the street department, we spend way more than we have traditionally had to spend. And some of the stuff, and you can see the areas that they've changed a little bit, but it didn't change enough to throw off the big number. So if you started out, I mean, just on a small scale, say you had $5,000, you divided it 5 ways, then you just realize that those 5 ways didn't cover, they didn't need have the same needs. So when you don't have the same needs, the money go to another area to make sure you meet those needs. So some days they're different in some. But the goal of the budget and the resolution is to say that money was moved. But if you start moving the money and you don't get a resolution to move it, then that's where you get into trouble, just moving money and nobody knows it. This way, you see where it's moved, how it's moved, and then the approval of the council said it was moved legit because it was actually moved. The department heads knows where it went to. Those that were responsible knows why it was moved. And the resolution said, yes, it's balanced, because at the end of the end of the year, it needs to be a balanced budget.
I'm
So,
trying to make it make sense though.
yeah,
You know,
now
'cause
what
if you
part
got-
do you not
I mean,
understand?
if the department overspend their budget, and then this department ain't spent their budget, you just like, you
It
can
d-
go buy anything and get anything, just go get it from that department.
No, it doesn't work quite like that. You don't just do it with them.
being
No, I'm just
honest,
saying,
man,
but I'm,
'cause
yeah,
Crockett been down for a minute, man.
okay,
Let's
but,
keep it real. And y'all
I
can
don't
brother-in-law
know.
and sister-in-law what you want. I'm keeping it real, man.
No, I'm
because
trying to see
we
what real
we
is.
trying to grow, we gotta get it right. You can't overspend your budget and then go get it from here and cover that, man.
but it's some crisis, so you have
Okay,
3
now
budgets.
whatever-
Now,
whatever,
listen to.
I don't wanna
You
hear
don't
it.
think the water department, you don't think getting the street that had to get extra money is more important than certain
Y'all just
things?
going along with this stuff, man.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
it's your call.
y'all
So,
going
right
along
now,
with it.
we're up to item, are we ready to take it to a motion?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, can we get a motion? Because nothing is, does someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the
Can we get a second?
amendments.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to amend the motion.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we consider, we approve the resolution, but wait the 30 days before we transfer any fees.
Okay, repeat, I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution, but wait 30 days, or wait to the end of the month to see what funds we have come in before we move any money, to zero it out.
Motion on the floor.
Yeah, it was one,
No,
Yeah, it was already a motion on the floor.
It actually, there wasn't a second for it, so.
It wasn't.
That-
second.
There wasn't.
it wasn't a
Okay,
second, so it
so it
died.
died.
Yeah,
And I just.
and he
I-
called
Go
for
ahead,
an
go ahead.
amendment.
I'm sorry.
I
second that.
I second.
And it's been second, so it's been moved in second. All in favor? Oppose? Oh, it's a tie?
It's a tie.
So I get to break the tie? I'm for. Okay, so the motion carries with that stipulation. Okay, item number 8, consider and approve a resolution nominating candidates to fill positions for the Board of Directors for the Houston County Appraiser District at the upcoming election.
Mayor and council, you'll see in the back of your packet that nominations, the following criteria was listed. Taxing unit may nominate an employee of their elected official only. Any citizen has been a resident of the county for preceding 2 years. Presiding officer of each voting unit's governing body will need to submit the name of the nominees in writing to the chief appraiser before October 15th. We nominated one in February. We have the option of nominating again if somebody has someone to nominate. We don't have to, it's just I was given the option if somebody had somebody they wanted to nominate.
So will this person be going in?
They don't have to be elected. This is just a nomination.
And then they'll vote on it.
Then they'll vote. The appraisal district will vote. So this is just a nomination, strictly a nomination.
So this won't come back again, right? Correct?
No,
Okay.
yes.
Would you like to nominate?
Yes, I have a nomination. I like to nominate Lois Ball.
Okay. Are there any other nomination? Okay, we have one on the floor. Okay, ready for, take it to it.
I'll say-
Will be second, yeah.
You say it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Second?
Yeah.
Okay, first, second, okay. Ready for the vote? Everybody vote? Okay. Motion carries. Okay. If there's no other business, adjourn. Okay.
It was dead, and I was like, well, let's just amend it, and let's make it another way.
No, that's not.